This is TWiT.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to TWiT, your tech hub for intelligent, thoughtful conversations. If you want to take your experience to the next level and support what we do here at TWiT, say goodbye to ads and say hello to Club TWiT. With Club TWiT, you unlock all our shows ad-free. You also get exclusive members-only content. We do a lot of great programming just for the club members. You also get behind-the-scenes access with our TWiT Plus bonus feed and live video streams while we're recording. And don't forget the fantastic members-only Discord. It's where passionate tech fans like you and me hang out, swap ideas, and connect directly with all of our hosts. It's my favorite social network. I think you'll like it too. Club TWiT. It's not just a subscription. It's how you support what we do and become part of the TWiT family. Your membership directly supports the network, helping us stay independent and keep making the shows you love. If you're ready to upgrade your tech podcast experience, head to twit.tv/clubtwit and join us today. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the club.
Good evening, Craftonians, Craftonites, and others. Let me know, if you can hear me okay. I am using a headset microphone due to the craft that we'll be doing this evening. I hope you all enjoyed the Q&A with the wonderful Scott Wilkinson. And welcome back. Welcome for your first time to Crafting Corner. So what we're doing this evening when we do Mikah's Crafting Corner is we all gather together and we work on crafts. I keep wanting to pull my microphone forward, thinking that I need it. I'm going, I haven't pulled it forward yet. In any case, this evening, we're going to be doing something new, given that we finished the Lego last time. As I always remind you, if you have crafts that you would like to work on, do tell us about what you're working on. We always end up talking about lots of stuff as well. But there is what this is how it works. First and foremost, I am going to be working on painting a miniature. And I've done something that I think is kind of interesting. I have the 3D model of the miniature here for my own reference, but through the magic of cool camera stuff, you should be able to also see the model on your screen as well. There's a program called Hello Wizardling. There's a program called Hero Forge that I have all of my players use when they create their characters. It makes for easy token building, but then it also makes these great characters that they can sort of refer to and reference that makes it feel a little like there's a little bit more of a connection between them and their character. And in this case, I 3D printed these characters, and what I'm wanting to do is paint them. I have here, this is 3D printed. It is a miniature holder, and so you screw the top of it to sort of clamp down on the base of the miniature, and then you can unscrew it afterward. So we'll pop that on there and screw it in to lock it in place like so. A lot of times people just use museum putty. What else do they call it? Sticky tack, blue tack, that kind of stuff. But in this case, I had a 3D printer and wanted to use that. This was a cool thing. It's called print in place. And what that means is it doesn't require any construction after the fact, but instead is printed in place, and it prints with all of these individual components working. So literally it just built up from the from the bottom, and everything was already ready to go. I just had to kind of a little bit to break it free. We'll be able to zoom in a bit for this, so you'll be able to see it a little closer. But I pre-primed the miniatures. This was gray before, and it is now primed white. There are different kinds of primer, different colors of primer depending on what you're doing. I like to use a gray or a white primer, and so that's what I'm using tonight. And I also have this 3D printed paintbrush tray holder. Lots of places for paintbrushes to go, and a little water tray that comes out for cleaning off the brush, and also helping to kind of keep the paint nice and wet. So I also will be bringing this into the mix for myself, because these miniatures are very far away. So this helps me to be able to see what I'm working with. But for you all, we'll be zooming in a little bit so you can see what I am doing. Let's try that. And, well, that's going to be pretty bright. So I think we might turn down the brightness on the... I don't even know that we need the brightness, to be honest with you all. Let's zoom in some more. See how close we can get. Ooh, there we go. And I can actually move this so that it is still in frame. Let's go back this way. We want to slow that speed down quite a bit. Whoa. Well, now I've messed it up, haven't I? All right, we will zoom in again and kind of keep it there. There we go. All right. So this character is called Lovisa. And Lovisa is a half-orc fighter. And it looks like Lovisa's kind of main color is a sort of greenish mint color. And so that's the first color that I'm going to try to mix and make with my acrylic paints. So I'm actually going to have us pop out here. And we'll start with that. So I've got a few greens already and some grays, and what I need to do is basically take a green and kind of make it a little bit more gray. I like to, as much as possible, kind of start with the colors that I have, as opposed to buying individual colors. That gets very expensive very quickly. And I also find the process of creating the color kind of fun, honestly. So we'll shake up this green. And just a little dab of it will be enough. There's a bug on my desk. And then a little bit of gray on top of that. Have I opened this one? It would appear I have. Or have I? No, I haven't. Anybody working on anything exciting? Let's looking a little quiet this evening. The usual crew is gone for the most part. There's been a lot of illness lately. I keep talking to new people and they're going, "Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I got sick." There we go. I knew I could get that off of there. Ahoy there, Timothy. We're just doing some miniature painting today. I am mixing colors. Use an X-Acto blade for what? Getting colors mixed? Because I use my little putty knife. My wee little putty knife. Oh, to get the, yes, to open it. That's what you meant. Sorry. I thought you meant to to sample the colors. So for everyone watching, what I'm trying to do is mix together to get this kind of green color that we have here. This sort of minty gray green. And then what you do later is you go back in and you kind of weather things out and you add fine detail, but we've got to lay the foundation, the base. And the base in this case is this sort of minty green color. I'm using a wet palette, which when I first painted a miniature, I did not know about. And then it is model painting. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, Joe. It is, I did not know about. And basically there's this foam pad, and you wet the foam pad, and then you put this little piece of paper over the top, and you, it stays wet and moist. And so then, oftentimes I'll mix a color and it'll be perfect. And then I'll have to go back later and go, now, how did I do that again? This way, I don't really have to do that. Assuming that I make enough, of course. It's looking a little darker, like it needs to be a little darker than this. So I'm going to grab my black and just add the tiniest bit of black to it. Oh, even better, I've got this midnight color, which is a very dusty, deep blue. Wow, I love the way the clouds look on that. So what we'll do is take a little dab of the midnight. Pop that over on the side. I really don't want that much. Oof. Oh well. We can just take a little bit from there and bring it over. I used to watch all of these Instagram videos of people making different colors out of different colors, and I always really liked that. Found that kind of a delightful experience. So yeah, now you're kind of seeing this brownish color that gets in there just starting with some paint by number kits that the family got to get our daughter painting. Yeah, paint by number. I've had a couple of those over the last few years that I really enjoyed. Big fan of sunflowers, and so I had a sunflower one that I did. I'll bring some more of that blue in. So yes, this is always the first part. You can buy almost all of the colors if you want that you're working on, but there's something for me that is fun about making the colors. So this part of the model making process could be a lot faster for you if you decide to go with the sort of pre-made colors. Nice, Burke. So Burke has the different colors that he has, and then has swatches of them, so you can see what they actually look like when they're out of the tube, which is very handy. Because, yeah, it's different between looking through a translucent container and kind of around the packaging. Yes, and then, of course, there would be times where you'd need to kind of mix the colors together. Yeah, it is the change of the microphone. This has a little microphone muff on the end that seems, Burke could probably speak more to it, but it is, by the nature of the microphone, it's a little bit more muffled. I'm sure there's some way I could improve upon it, but just for this, it felt like it would be okay. Yeah, it is the Countryman that y'all packaged up for me at the studio. I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I suppose if I started talking like this, then maybe that would work better. What do you say, wake? I don't know if he would say wake. That would work better. All right, I'm feeling pretty happy with that. I think it might be a little bit bronzier, but work. As opposed to wake, which I guess is what, more New York? I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy with that. So my shirt is from my alma mater. It says bleed, black and gold, which are just the colors of my university. Silly. I won't be bleeding those colors, because if I was, there'd be something very wrong. All right. So now we're going to do some fun of laying this foundation on our work, on our week. Honestly, what I'll probably do is just kind of base coat from above the boot up with this color, except for the head and the hair, and the sword, and then go through and layer on other stuff after that. So Mario. Hi there, Chocolate Milk Mini Sip, aka Paul. Just cleaning out the brush here because it might still have some glue on it. Yes, we are working on miniatures this time around. I did 3D print them. I also 3D printed the little holder for it. So let's go back to that, view this a little bit closer here. I'm going to bring my magnifier back over. Whoops, let me get it in the shot here so you can all see it. So, there we go. All right. So as I said, what I'm planning on doing here is working on the, well, I want you all to be able to see it while I'm also able to, there we go. I'm working on painting the top of the body above the boots, and kind of laying a base coat for all of that, save for the sword and the face and hair. Everything else can kind of be with this foundation of green, of this mint green. Now, with miniature painting, the one thing I do know is that it is very important to prime before you paint. And so there is primer over the top of the 3D printed work. And now I'm just going in and laying a foundation. And honestly, this is the easier part. Base coat, because I get to be very messy. One thing I do like about painting is that it can be pretty forgiving. You can paint over things, which I quite like. And I think that made me feel less afraid of miniature painting than I was certainly feeling more intimidated by it originally. But when I started playing around with it and realized, oh, I can go in here and make some mistakes and then let it dry and then paint over it. Yeah, Wizardly, I have some plans for the future in a more classical kind of campaign for sure. If you are ever looking for some actual play D&D, featuring yours truly, you can check out Total Party Kill over on the Incomparable. That's Jason Snell's podcast network. I have a Mirthmas campaign that I ran, which was it was a Christmas themed one, but it was still pretty much sword and sorcery. And that actually has Amanda Silberling in it, one of my co-hosts on TWiT Weekly. And Paris was saying that she actually really liked that campaign. She recently had listened to it and liked that campaign. And then I also am a player in a number of adventures over there as well. My longest running character is a half-elf druid named Elivor. And he's a pretty awesome guy, if I do say so myself. So it is looking a little bit less minty on here. But once we get all the other details added, I think it'll be fine. So, yeah, I think, it's interesting being a DM and trying to always balance between keeping the story going, making sure people are enjoying themselves, following the rules, and everything else that comes along with it. There's a lot that's involved. That is something that I, for the most part, enjoy, except I never want to be responsible for someone. I don't want to be the reason that someone tries D&D and then feels boxed out or anything like that. And I think there's a difference. For some people, it's just simply not for them. I don't want to be the reason that it's not for them. And so I'm always, when I'm DMing, I try to be very cognizant of that. It was a different situation for running this campaign. But because of people's time, what people are willing to do ahead of time, what all you need to arrange. But in my real life sessions, I have my players fill out a form that before we ever begin playing, they fill out a form that has all of the different types of content that could possibly come up in a campaign. And I'm talking like the big stuff, death, suicide, self-harm, sexual assault, which is written into some campaigns. And basically they say, this is how much I'm comfortable with this thing. It's a scale from green, yellow, and red, which green means I'm okay with however you want to run this. I trust you to run it how you need to. Yellow is I have some hangups here and I need you to take it, be very mindful. And then red is no, under no circumstances, please, can we not have that in the campaign? And so that's a very important aspect for me as well. Because I also think that leads to better storytelling. Instead of having someone completely shut down because something comes up that they would prefer to not have to deal with in a situation. But I will also say that I was I don't know if pleasantly surprised is quite accurate a description, but I was caught off guard in a very positive way at what my players, selected for this, meaning that they pretty much said, I trust you to be mindful of how this goes and work it into the story, as it makes sense or not. But I find that those kinds of things require a more personal connection with people as well. And by that I mean, there's already so much of a lift to just get people to decide on a date of play. And I mentioned that, part of what I ask of my players outside of what we did for the TWiT thing is to, I highly encourage them to create a character using Hero Forge. That's another thing that I didn't ask of these players, because again, it's not their first and foremost sort of desire is to play D&D. And so it was, it's already an ask. And I think that's important, is to be mindful of sort of what you're asking of someone. So yeah, I think I'm able to sort of take from the experience how people enjoyed or didn't the adventure, and then I can proceed with that in mind. You also, I think it's another thing, balancing someone's desire to do something unique and fun and having them do what is easy. And by that I mean, I've had one person say, so I was wondering if I could play a dragon that burps nachos, you know what I mean? That sort of situation. And I say, oh, cool. Yeah. Have you played D&D before? No. Okay. Let me tell you why I don't think that's a great idea to be, for your first time, a custom race and I think that's not what they call it. I think they call it origin these days. Custom origin and custom class. Because there are so many different rules that you just have to know. And it took me a long time to feel kind of locked in. And I still don't. There's stuff that I learn all the time as well. But I don't know. I don't want to talk about D&D anymore. I'm curious what everybody's been up to. The holidays are fast approaching. We are having our Thanksgiving gathering, our Friendsgiving very soon. We're having it next week, earlier in the week. And so I just got the turkey today, popped it into the fridge for thawing. I think it's 24 hours for every 5 pounds of turkey. Something like that. Yeah, and tell me about it. Christmas is disturbingly close as well. And I've packed in all of the celebrations at the end of the year, because it's my fiance's anniversary in the coming week, and Thanksgiving is coming up, my birthday is coming up, Christmas is coming up. It's all here. Paul says, I get mildly annoyed by all the Christmas lights in November. It's petty, I suppose, but I feel like it makes actual Christmas feel less special. I also, yeah, snow on the ground does make for prettier lights. I do wish we got more snow here in Portland. Oh my goodness. I'm going to message you. I completely spaced on that. Let me Instagram you. Actually, let's see if this works. This is why I never use my voice for this. But we're going to see. Hey, Siri. Remind me tonight at 8:30.
Okay, Micah, what do you want to be reminded about?
Remind me tonight at 8:30 to message Joe.
Okay, I added message Joe for this evening at 8:30 p.m.
We'll see if that even works. I don't even know. What if it pops up only on the... I hate using voice for this. We'll see. If you don't hear from me, Joe, it's Siri's fault. Yeah, growing up, that was my favorite thing, was seeing lights underneath the snow. So much so that I would take snow and shovel it on top of the lights at my grandparents' house, my great-grandparents' house. I found it delightful. Yeah, 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 yeah. I used to really... Well, actually, no, I take that back. I've always been a Thanksgiving guy. I was very sensitive to the way it made my mom in particular stressed out. And I saw that Thanksgiving did not do that as much. And so I just always really liked Thanksgiving. Plus, there was a lot of expectation. I do love the music. Oh my goodness, I love the music. There was a lot of expectation of, like, I can remember having my grandparents really overly focused on us to make sure that we were remembering the reason for the season, which, listen, if that is your religious beliefs, fine. And I'm not besmirching that. What I am besmirching is this like hyper fixation on, if in every mention of Christmas you don't mention the religious aspect of it, then you are, a heathen. That was very stressful growing up. And so we would sing, if I was singing secular Christmas songs, then it would quickly be a question of, why are you singing that and not, Joy to the World and all that kind of stuff. So I agree. There's something for everyone. Well, especially because, literally, is that not the whole thing? Is that everybody, everywhere has this end of the year holiday of some sort? Baby, it's cold outside and we just want to gather together and celebrate the year of farming we just did. What's everyone's favorite carol or song? Ooh, are there going to be Christmas-themed tickets, Joe? Yeah, that would be something. Wizardling, Australian Christmas. Swimming in a budgie smuggler. Now that'd be a Christmas card for the ages. Nice, the Winter Film Festival. Yeah, I really do like the change of seasons. That's important to me. Oh, poo. I just put some of the paint on the hair. There's a movie that Lee Pace did with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And Lee Pace is one of my favorite. This has nothing to do with Christmas, to be clear. I was just thinking about you, Joe, being a movie person, and so maybe you would know about this movie. Or maybe not, because I don't know if it's terrible. But Lee Pace was asked recently what was one of the favorite projects he did. And he said the movie that he did with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is one of my partner's favorite actors or people in general. And Lee Pace is one of my favorite actors. And so we have yet to watch it. Possession. Yeah, that's what it's called. We have yet to watch it. Is it a scary movie? What is it? I mean, it's called Possession, so one would think that it's a scary movie unless it's talking about, 4/10 of the law or whatever. 4/5 of the law, not 4/10 of the law. 40% of the law is possession. Oh, a horror mystery. When I saw the clip of the trailer and I saw Lee Pace in it, I thought, I don't know, that's not the Lee Pace I like. But we'll have to see. I literally only watched like a second of him on screen, so. Oh yeah, that's it, 9/10, not 4/5. Jeez Louise. I don't know if we will continue this for next time. If we do, I want to maybe try to do a better setup somehow, so that it would just be so nice if my eyeballs were able to be, I'm joking when I say this. It would be so nice if my eyeballs were able to be cameras so that you all could just see what I'm seeing, and then I wouldn't have to have a separate setup. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Is that anything like Ash versus the Evil Dead? Oh, I like a horror comedy, because that's kind of a lot of horror I will turn into comedy because it's how I deal with it. I mean, it depends. There are some scary movies where I'm like, no, this is something that I'm trying to be scared about. But then there's some stuff where I'm going, this is a little too silly. Wait, have we? Yeah, we did. I remember now. I was going to say, did we talk about weapons? But we did, because that's when Burke started shouting. What's one of the scariest, what's something that you can see in a film that you go, okay, that always kind of creeps me out? For example, like every time there's an animal that is scary, that creeps me out. Glowing eyes in the dark. Wow, okay. That happens a lot, doesn't it? Do you like the Flanagan horror, thriller, mystery films? Because that's some of Sebastian and my favorite stuff. And I'm thinking, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about too. Can I tell you, as Mizzy, my gal dog has gotten older and her lenses aren't what they used to be. Now at night, that is how her eyes look. And that is creepy. I don't like animal stuff, particularly if it's like an animal that you once trusted suddenly, because remember the scene, and even talking about it right now is giving me like gross chills. There's some stupid movie. It's stupid because it freaks me out, where like it's one of those Target dogs. It's, oh goodness, I can't think of what they're called. Bull Terrier, I think. Is that it? Bull Terrier? And but the body is like upside down. It's flipped. And it walks forward, but it's upside down. And I will never get that scene out of my head. Or not even a scene, it's a shot. And it lives rent-free in my brain skull. And I hate it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not huge on gratuitous gore. It doesn't freak me out. Although, what was it? I watched something recently. Oh, I know. The sequel to The Black Phone. I got kind of angry, to be honest with you, watching the sequel to The Black Phone. Due to, and I don't want to spoil it, but for me, there's something about gore and children that is not kosher. And so, yeah, that really I was not pleased. Which, I mean, yes, I guess I should have expected. It is a movie involving kids and commentary therein, but I didn't expect it to be as gratuitous as it was with its gore. And that was upsetting for me. I think because of my religious upbringing, I still don't really watch demon stuff. So I've never watched The Exorcist, and I don't really ever see myself watching it. Even though I really don't believe in any of that anymore, it just, for me, like, I spent so much of my childhood afraid of that stuff that I'm going, I don't really need to have that in my adult life. So yeah, everybody who, like my friends and people around me who want to, go see scary movies or whatever, they know that I'm not interested in seeing anything that has to do with demons. It's funny though, because some of it's okay. It's not every, because technically, Like Evil Dead has possession in it, and that doesn't get me. I think it's specifically when it's incredibly religious as well, which is why Exorcist and I do not get along. Yeah, I can't. Does anyone have a movie from their childhood that freaked them out, that they went back and watched and found to still be scary, or that they have never gone back to watch because it freaked them out when they were a kid, or that now you look back and you laugh? Yeah, Alien. Mine is Candyman. Obviously, I'm talking about the original, not the remake. I am young, but I'm definitely not that young. Silence of the Lambs. Okay, that's interesting. Rosemary's Baby. Okay, so see, I watched Rosemary's Baby and I thought, how do so many people fear this silly film? But again, it has to do with like what it brings up for you when you watch it, even if it's not necessarily a scary thing. So for you, Timothy, you go back and you go, oh, that was silly that I ever thought that was scary. That, that is how I felt about Candyman. There's a lot of that kind of lore in Missouri, like mirror lore. And so we had Bloody Mary, and we had, after I watched Candyman, then we had Candyman. And then we also had, this wasn't mirror, this was a woman who would be in a tree, and her name was Horrible Hannah. And Horrible Hannah would be up in the trees, and then late at night, she would scoop you up into the tree and take you away. And so there's kind of a lot of that made me particularly freaked out about an urban legend like Candyman. I didn't sleep for like 3 days. The mother still troubles me from Carrie. LOL, Paul. Yes. Honestly, any of those videos or photos of you, those, I hate those ones where it's like so close yet so far away situations where they've built something and it could have been good. One of my least favorite things is one of my partner's favorite things to tease me with, which is a whole pumpkin pie. And instead of cutting the pumpkin pie like a human being, they have taken they cut into the middle of it, but not even right in the middle of it, because that would have been at least a little acceptable, but sort of cut a chunk out of they core it, but they don't even core it at the core, they core it off center, and it's just the most miserable thing. And you're just going, what kind of monster? Yeah, because I make baked goods, and if someone that literally is a trapezoid, that's so funny. And if someone did that to one of the baked treats I made, that's just disrespectful. We'd be having words. We would. I'd be going, now who raised you? Because they sure didn't raise you right. Were you born in a barn? Because I was, but I got better manners than you. When I first moved to California from Missouri, pretty much felt like that's what everybody thought my family sounded like. And in some cases, I was correct. Especially with everyone saying Missouri. Like, I'd go, I'm from Missouri, and they'd go, oh, Missouri? And I'd go, no, I just told you what we call it. That's something we'll have to talk about on the next Crafting Corner, is things about our individual locations that people get wrong that bother us. Or maybe you've come to not let it bother you. That could be the case as well. That is wild, wizardling. That is the dumbest thing I think I've ever, it's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but come on. People thinking that, sorry, you know what, we're doing it this time. So, let's see. Timothy says, Texas and the huge stars everywhere. I'm assuming you're meaning like people think that stars are part of the branding of Texas all over the place. And then Mandar says, people overdo the Boston accent. Most people don't sound anything like what you hear. But the one that is killing me is Wizardling says, there are people who think that New Zealand is part of Australia. Come on. Wizardling says, look, I love Australia, mind you, but I get tired of it. You know what, Wizardling? Send them to me the next time. I need to talk to these people and I need to ask, who raised you? Who raised you? I just want to know. That, I can't, I don't, so there are multiple, I'm trying to figure out what is it about. I'm like, what is it that has resulted in me not having that thought? Because let me be clear. I am horrible with geography. I've at least been on this planet for 30 years, at least. And you could not put a United States map in front of me and expect me to fill out where all the states go. I'll just be honest with you. I don't know where all the states go. Sorry, but I don't. If you give me a list of the states, I could do pretty well. But yeah, geography. So like, I really don't know other places. As far as, exactly where they are. But I just don't understand how anyone could think that that's the case. And so I'm trying to think of I think that part of it is that I really like, there are some shows that are New Zealand based. And then I love accents. And so I know that a New Zealand accent and an Australian accent are different. And so that could be part of the reason why I just know that. But yeah, I guess really what I'm trying to figure out are what are the conditions that leads to one thinking that New Zealand and Australia are the same? Yeah, I think you're same, Timothy. If I could have a map in front of me and have process of elimination, I could get there for sure, especially now. But I think, all the parts? Chocolate milk mini sip? I don't know. Are you saying because Alaska isn't attached and Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Is that what you mean? All of our territories? Oh, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Good. Yeah, no, I can't name them for certain. I don't know what all we own. Depends on who you ask. Oh, Guam. Guam is a U.S. territory. Wow. Wait, Wizardling, why do you know about our territories? Were you required to learn that? Because that'd make me sad. Midway what? Midway where? Well, yeah, Alaska and Hawaii, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, didn't know, and then American Samoa, which is, I just see it as, oof, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe maybe I'm part of the problem, seeing American Samoa as part of Hawaii. So I wasn't bad. Yes, I was. I only got Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. Someone else said Guam. I didn't say. In my mind, I was like, well, I said Guam out loud, so I got that one right? No, Mikah, you didn't get that one. You read it from Wizardly. What is... Okay, sorry, I keep saying this. Midway. I've never heard of Midway. Is it midway between... Is this a joke? Is you gonna hit me with some sort of... It's sounding like the setup to a joke. The only time I heard about American Samoa was referred to that way was on Australian Survivor, which I know is different from New Zealand. An insular area of the United States, unorganized and unincorporated territory that I'm going to conquer and claim as my own. And then I'm going to have Mizzy Bucks and Henry coins. And you can all come live there. And everyone will get free coffee every morning, free continental breakfast. But everyone has to be gluten-free. I'm sorry. It will be a requirement because it's going to be very expensive to import everything. And so I'm only going to allow the tax dollars to fund the import of gluten-free products, food products. So I'm telling you though, these days, the bread can be delicious. So if you could give up a little bit of wheat, I promise you everything else will be amazing. But we have to have a military, don't we? Isn't that part of what's required to have a country? I don't want a military. Well, I guess we'd need a navy, huh? Coast Guard, what up? Could have cool uniforms. Crocheted uniforms. No one's going to live on my Midway. My unorganized and unincorporated territory of Midway Atoll. Hi, Uno5. Yes, I am working on a miniature at the moment, a D&D miniature. For the people in the Discord, there's a listener from Twitch who I am responding to. If you're wondering if I was just talking to myself, I am known to do that. Oh, 1943, the Battle of Midway. That's why you kept... I'm like, I've literally never heard of Midway. Oh, wait, first edition? No, thank you. No, thank you. Have any of you played flight simulator games? Or, I don't know if you're supposed to call them games. Howland Island. We're howling! Ooh, Jarvis, that sounds cool. Have any of you played flight sims? Oh, I see, Uno5. So is it for, excuse me, designing campaigns? Is it for, AD&D, got it. Paul says, when I was in university, the local Zellers, like Walmart before they put them out of business, did 24 hours going up to Christmas. One very early morning, my friends and I were bored and went around trying to make the most horrible outfit from around the store. I was just thinking that something crocheted and something macrame would be part of it. Absolutely. You know what? I always had this, growing up, I always thought it'd be so cool to get stuck in a store and have to like live in the camping aisle and get frozen food from the frozen food area. And then someone said, have you heard of capitalism? Because that's going to be something you'll have to pay for. And I said, oh yeah, you're right. A Dungeon Master's Guild in there. That's cool. Does it, sorry, is it for creating maps or for creating, helping you with creating adventures or all of the above? Guides for helping you create mobs? Cool. Yeah, you should be able to, you should be able to pop the link in the chat. If you can't pop the link in the chat, then there's not really a way for you to do so. But if you can, I'll see it there. Oh, nice. You do Spelljammer. Cool. Crocheted macaroni. Yeah. I wouldn't want to, I guess you could adorn, oh, what if I made it so that everybody had to have their passport photo had to be made with macaroni art? I wonder if if my citizens would be allowed in any countries. Those would be chunky passports. And again, gluten-free pasta, so it's going to fall apart. That's true. And that's really why, is so that if you ever got stranded somewhere, you could simply boil your passport and have a little meal. But then you'd be stranded there longer, wouldn't you? Yeah. Shoot. You know what? We'll workshop it. If this line would have moved a little bit quicker, I would have had my passport. Back in Midway, there are 15 of us total. Oh my goodness, yeah. Thank you for the reminder. I have gotten carried away. And I do need to eat something. Although this has been a delightful little conversation. I still am thinking about different times for this. I know I have said that, and I just have not had the opportunity to make that change or look at how to shift it. The year has gotten away. But I'm still toying with the idea of sort of, 1 month doing it at this time, 1 month doing it at that time. To accommodate more time zones. 3 a day, 7 days a week. Good idea, Paul. The first time I did this, I did not have a little holder. And by golly, this does make it a lot easier. Especially for giving my finger a place to rest. To provide more stability. I think that's the big positive here. Yeah, perhaps next time I will make my Midway passport. I do believe now is a great time for me to say good night and goodbye to all of you. Thank you for being here. To the Mikanauts, to the Craftonians and the Craftoids. I forgot what the other one was. Craftonians? And I don't remember. Regardless, you're all wonderful people. Thank you for being here. And we'll catch you again next month for, it is Silky, PLA. We'll catch you again next month for another crafting corner. Goodbye, everybody.